now asked to stage rice map. This presentation is on the experiments conducted by rice map between 2012 and 2013.
Thank you very much to give me an opportunity to tell you something about our interim brief report of experiment which is conducted by RICE-MAP. RICE-MAP is the standing for Rice-Based and Market-Oriented Agriculture Promotion Project. This is a collaboration work between Japanese government and your Kenyan government. Our project is working in a Muea irrigation scheme. Since last season, we became a little bit busier because of double cropping practices. So unfortunately, I haven't got much detailed information yet. The analysis hasn't finished yet. So today's report is very, very brief and interim report for you. If I was given with the next opportunity, probably at that time, full report will be possible. Last year, what we have done is here, different timing of nitrogen application, effect of rice bran application for weed control, different returnability in different plant types and planting spacing, demonstration of non-tillage rice cultivation, demonstration of high merit method, and additionally, if I can introduce about the germination habit of Basmati 370 variety. Especially the different returnability in different plant type and planting spacing experiment. Since the ratoon production is still ongoing, I have nothing to tell you about this experiment. Please forgive me. I'd like to go one by one from the different timing of nitrogen fertilizer application. In Kenya, widely practiced the top dressing 45 to 50 days after sowing nitrogen application, nitrogen fertilizer application. This recommendation most probably aiming the PI stage here after the vegetative growth phase finished. But of course, the length of this vegetative growth phase is depending on the variety or environmental condition or fertility, soil fertility, so on. Excuse me. If we almost fix 45 to 50 days, it's a little bit dangerous because during the PI stage, about 2 weeks, the lower internode is elongated. So if the fertilizer is effect to the lower internode elongation, of course, that plant's got some heavier risk for the lodging. So, of course, a PI stage application is very, very important to make a panicle bigger. But instead of that, if we apply the heading stage, the same amount of fertilizer is applied in heading stage, so we can emphasize more acceleration of the ripening. So that is the theme of the experiment. And data collection is still ongoing, as I told you, but no significant difference was obtained for the yield from each plot. And during the experiment, we noticed that the farmers in Muea irrigation scheme practicing a very, very dense planting. The recommendation is about 25 hills per square meter, but most of the farmers is doing 35 or some are 42, so on. In the next opportunity, I'm planning to combine the factor of fertilizer application and spacing, density in next main season. Next topic is the effect of rice bran on weed control. Some Japanese organic farmers are practicing application of rice bran to the field. Rice bran has some effect to control the weed appearance. Their recommendation is about 1 ton of rice bran to apply to the 1 hectare of paddy field at 5 days after transplanting. this is effective to control. So we gave a 4 treatment like T1 control, T2 500 kilogram per hectare. This is a half of recommendation. T3 is the recommendation itself, and T4 is the double of the recommendation. We made these plots with the 3 replications. This is the control plot. You can see nothing in the paddy field in the water. This is the T2, half of the recommendation. You can see some brownish part in the picture. This is the T3, the recommendation amount. Now you notice that the water is not very clear because of the rice bran application, and it's fermented. Then no sunshine goes to the weed seed and disturb the germination and growth of weed. This is the double amount of the recommendation. You can see that some waste or something come from the rice bran floating in the water, and I think it's a little bit too much, and some fermentation smell is occur, and I do not recommend about this. Anyway, the 1 month after application, the weeds grown from each plot were taken and dried weight was checked. T2 to T4 had less amount of weed than T1, but unfortunately no significant difference. Farmers in Muea irrigation schemes, they do not apply the irrigation water just after transplanting. Most probably they employ the outside transplanter, so they have a contract like one piece of land how much, so they very, very quickly finish the transplanting. So because of that poor skill, if they irrigate the water after the transplanting, most of the seedlings floated in the water, I guess. That is the reason why they do not irrigate their field after transplanting. So this method is not proper because if you do not give a water with rice bran never function well. So we never repeat this experiment. Non-tillage rice cultivation is practiced. The arrangement of the tractor or animal traction to prepare field before transplanting is always bottleneck in Muea farmers. So if we practice this non-tillage rice cultivation, we can save the field preparation cost and of course the time for the field preparation, and no fear to some farmers cannot do the timely transplanting because of that arrangement. So previous hills or ratoons were killed by herbicide after the harvesting. Then the adult seedling of Basmati 370 were transplanted by 20 by 20 centimeter, meaning the 25 hills per square meter spacing. Then it grew not bad. This is the maturation period, but yield was 3 tons per hectare. This, in comparison with the other farmers, the value is not very nice. But this, I guess, probably it comes from a sparse planting 20 by 20. Next time we'd like to try more dense planting with this non-tillage rice cultivation. Next one is a high-merit. High-merit stands for hybrid method of rice cultivation. The transplanting is a very nice method to aim higher yield, but it costs. But if we try the direct sowing, of course we do not need any money for employing many people to do, but establishment rate is low. That is why we cannot expect very higher yield. So hybrid method is a hybrid method. We broadcast the 5 days old seedlings to the well-prepared field. The seedlings are raised in carbonized husk for 5 days. This is the carbonized rice husk, so we can broadcast in this style. So establishment rate is very high, and we recorded about 7 tons per hectare higher yield in some plot. This demonstration is we repeating with different varieties in different seasons. We continue this demonstration. So those experiments were conducted last year by RiceMap. And during the experimental works, we noticed that the seed of Basmati 370 shows lower germination rate rather than other normal paddy variety like IR, BW, or ITA. So this is the graph shows you the germination test conducted with those varieties. The ITA, BW, IR shows their peak of germination after 3 days starting the germination test, but only Basmati 370 showed a peak of the germination 1 day late. So we wondered why it is. According to some technical reference, moisture content show rice moisture content, moisture absorption by the rice seed showed like this curve. 30% is the enough moisture content to rice seed start the germination. This is the germination point, G point. This curve can be divided into 3 parts. First one is A phase, the water absorption phase, and B phase, this is the preparation phase for the germination. Of course, C phase is after germination, so naturally increase the moisture content because of the growth of the plant body. So we got some hypotheses. Some disorder or difficulty is existing in for the Basmati 370 during the A phase. So we try to check the water absorption rate of the Basmati 370. 10 grams of seed for 4 varieties were prepared, moisture content were checked, and dried weight of seed were calculated, and seeds were soaked into the water in a petri dish. Each sample was drained and weighed every 3 hours for 30 hours, so 10 times weight were practiced. So this is the result. ITA, BW, and IR show the almost complete natural curve of the water absorption. Yeah, of course, this is the curve of Basmati 370. This is something like a zigzag, and most probably it has some difficulty to absorb enough water in a short time. So because of this result, we could give the rice farmers in Weir irrigation scheme to give more time for the soaking before sowing. Thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation.